And now, it's Soccer Talk on CL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios, here's your host, Tyler Gray.
The Whitecaps in San Jose to face the Quakes. Well, they were in San Jose. I don't know if they really did much playing. The Caps also bringing in a new face to the roster this week, probably the worst kept secret around the club recently in player acquisitions. Montreal making an impact in CONCACAF Champions League, plus it's a very big Sunday in the Premier League for a couple of Manchester teams. Good evening and welcome to Soccer Talk on CL 650, broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. My name is Tyler Green. On Twitter, at TylerGreenFC. The program also available online at cl650.com. Thank you for listening. The kickoff is brought to you by KO, Kevin O'Toole, and findaproperty.ca. Whether it's buying or selling a home, Kevin O'Toole is the name you need to remember. And you can also talk soccer with him. Get the details of what Kevin can do for you at findaproperty.ca. That's Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Royal LePage Sussex, online at findaproperty.ca. Let's start with the Montreal Impact because, well, they've done what no other Canadian team has done before them, and that is make it to the Champions League final, where they will face Club America of Mexico. And I've long said this is a big thing for the Impact in Canada and Canadian soccer itself. Over 45,000 tickets sold so far. People in Montreal obviously taking notice. But are you out west? Are you watching the game? Are you excited about the game? They, of course, play, the Whitecaps do in California. They played in San Jose. And the WFC2 team play in California this weekend as well. They're going to play the Orange County Blues FC. Marco Carducci, Caleb Clark, Christian Dean, Ben McKendry, and Ethan Sampson, all with the USL side. Tim Parker expected to join the team after the Whitecaps lose 1-0 versus San Jose tonight. Kian Sfroze did get into the game tonight, may also be a part of that squad, the USL squad, when they face OC Blues FC. But Vancouver tonight, wow. What can you say about the game? The Caps, they were not good. The referee, yeah, he wasn't great either. But let's not let that be an excuse, because Vancouver did not look good at all. It was probably difficult. The Whitecaps always tweet, vote for your man of the match. And I'm not sure who, if anyone, actually deserves that. It was a rough night for the Vancouver Whitecaps tonight. And it does lead us to our Barber & Co. Barber poll tonight. Who are the real Whitecaps? The ones who went unbeaten in 5 with 4 straight wins? Or the team that haven't won in 2? The Barber poll is presented by barberandco.ca. Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag Barber poll on Twitter at SoccerTalk650, at TylerGreenFC. The Barber poll is presented by Barber & Co., Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambion 18th, and on the corner of Main and 12th. You can find them on Twitter at Barber & Co. or visit barberandco.ca. I got a haircut on Friday at the Cambie location. Craig Nitty and Victor Blasco of the WFC2 side also getting some fresh cuts for their game this weekend from the crew down at Barber & Co. And, well, no one scored for the Caps tonight. It hurt my fantasy team. Did it hurt yours? Well, Simon, if it hurt his team. But don't forget to join the Soccer Talk Fantasy League, presented by Umbro. Dave Townsend did just that, and he was the winner of the Soccer Talk Fantasy League contest for March. which was everyone who entered before March 31st was eligible to win. And Dave picked up an Umbro Canada anthem jacket. It's the ones the Canadian national team wear during the anthem before the match. So congrats, Dave. And you can check out facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan for the details on the April contest, how to join. And the April contest, pretty simple. Octavio Rivero is leading the Whitecaps in goals. So for April, you finished 29th in the standings, and you're going to walk away with an Umbro prize pack. All right, up next, we welcome my co-host, Goal.com writer Simon Fudge to the program. And Simon and I will go head-to-head on the starting 11. We're also hoping to catch up with a Vancouver Whitecap player in the next 20 minutes or so. All that coming up here on Soccer Talk on CL 650.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Soccer Talk on CL 650.
The family story begins generations ago on Via Tevere, a street in the heart of Naples, where food was the celebration of life. Today, in East Van, Via Tevere Pizzeria Napolitana honors their family heritage with La Vera Pizza Napolitana, pizza that showcases authentic Neapolitan ingredients and the time-honored tradition of wood-fired cooking. Come experience La Vera Pizza Napolitana, true Neapolitan pizza at Via Tevere Pizzeria, 1190 Victoria Drive, and look for the Via Tevere Neapolitan Express food cart around town.
In training players for the beautiful game, you must first recognize the beauty of their natural skill, then foster its growth in a healthy environment. So it is at Bevo Agro, the premier supplier of propagated plants in North America. From the beautiful potential of seeds and seedling, Bevo Agro grows tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, berries, and bedding plants to healthy perfection in their state-of-the-art greenhouses. It's beautiful work. Learn more at Bevo, B-E-V-O agro.com. Bevo Agro trades as BVO on the TSX Venture Exchange.
Coach education continues to be a major priority for BC Soccer as mandated age-specific coach education is required by June 1st, 2016. BC Soccer offers and delivers Canada Soccer's national certification courses within the community sports stream, focusing on long-term player development stages, including active start, fundamentals, learn to train, and soccer for life. For more information on BC Soccer's coaching courses and registration, visit bcsoccer.net/coach or talk to your local soccer club, league, or district.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 5 barber shops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
What do you want?
A balcony so high it looks down into soccer matches at BC Place.
A pub I can walk to with a dozen big screens.
Kevin O'Toole has created findaproperty.ca to help you find it. Designed to be simply straightforward, findaproperty.ca is an invaluable tool. That's Kevin O'Toole, Royal LePage, Sussex, for buyers and sellers in the greater Vancouver area like you. So find what you want
A backyard big enough for my own soccer pitch.
at findaproperty.ca.
It's your money with Fred Snyder.
Buying a bunch of stocks is not a financial plan. Buying some life insurance is not a financial plan. And you can't have naked products. The products have to be part of a plan, and it never is. People, they're out there, they have portfolios of 5, 6, 7 different companies. They're scattered all over the place. They haven't got the foggiest idea of where they're going.
Fred Snyder, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 10 on Smooth and Easy, CIL 650.
This is Soccer Talk on CIL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps in San Jose, and we're going to break that down very shortly here in the Barber & Co. studios. But right now it's starting 11 time, and it may get interrupted for a Whitecaps player, hopefully, here in the next 20 minutes or so. But you can tweet us your thoughts on the starting 11 on Twitter at Tyler Green FC, at Soccer Talk 650. My co-host, as we welcome him to the program, is none other than Simon Fudge. He is a Goal.com writer, and you can find him at Simon Fudge 74. And Simon, let's start with number 1 on the starting 11. How will Montreal's CONCACAF Champions League run impact the rest of their 2015 MLS season?
I fear it may leave them far too behind in the Eastern Conference playoff race. They lost again tonight away to Houston Dynamo by 3-0, coming off of that trip to Costa Rica where they were successful, at least on aggregate, to go through to the final. That leaves them with a record of no wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats from their first 4 games. This is a team that is struggling to score goals for me, particularly in MLS, but I think is really struggling to find the combinations and someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's still going to be a problem until they find a way of addressing it. And that's where my concern is. A lot of emotion and energy right now with this team is being put into this 2-leg final, which it will be in a tall order in itself for them to win. And I think their MLS campaign to this point is paying the price, and I fear it'll continue for them to pay the price as they get forward, and they'll be too far behind.
Well, just with the fact that they've already had a bye week in this season. They have another game moved, which we're going to get to in a minute here, but they have another game that's being moved just before they play. So I don't think it's going to be that much. They're just going to have some more games at the end of the season that they're going to need to use to catch up. And so I don't think the fact that they haven't played overly well in this distraction, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. In terms of their play on the field, yeah, that's, I think, the one that's going to be the issue, but not the fact that they're having a good run in Champions League.
Number 2, having demolished Costa Rica's Club Sport Herediano on Wednesday night, are Mexican Giants Club America huge favorites to win this year's CONCACAF Champions League title?
Yeah, I think they are. It's going to be difficult for Montreal, obviously, and I think they are going to be the underdogs going into this. But then again, Simon, you're the guy that's written them off how many different times playing in this competition, especially the last 2 teams that they've played against. You've said that you don't think that they're going to be going through, so anything can happen, and Montreal just might be that team that can get things done and surprise Club America.
I believe Club America are heavy favorites, even though the second leg will be, the decisive leg will be in Montreal on April 29th. They're the more talented side. This is one of the big 2 clubs in Mexican football, Chivas Guadalajara being the other. And I think when they're at the Azteca first leg on the 22nd, they will come and attack and put the Impact under siege, and they will do so successfully, and they will have a comfortable lead to take back to Quebec.
Number 3 on the starting 11, what effect will Montreal's run in CONCACAF Champions League have on the rest of Major League Soccer?
Thought about this from the teams playing in the competition. Hopefully the competition is now higher on the priority list of MLS clubs who are going to be playing in it. And by later in the year, that's 4 clubs from the States and the Whitecaps here, so representing Canada, so 5 clubs in. Teams playing full-strength sides and with an intent to go and win it, because along with what they want to do in MLS, playoffs, MLS Cup, maybe U.S. Open Cup for the American teams, this is the other piece of silver there that they want to try and win.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the fact that if you take this competition seriously, you have a chance to actually do something and go far, but it all is determined by how serious you take that competition. I think Montreal, and more so to the fact, and Evan Bush told us this last week when he joined us, was they were so terrible in Major League Soccer that they had to look for something good and positive, and that good and positive was trying to win or do well in Champions League. But regardless of that, any team can go out and take it seriously and put together a good team to try to win it and win the games and get through the competition, and that's what the MLS teams need to do. On the other side of things, I look at just a business standpoint, and you know, that is good for Major League Soccer, that an MLS team is doing well in this competition, and I think it's going to make different businesses, sponsors, etc., kind of look at that and say, hey, we are going to get now a bunch of extra value for having our name on the jersey crest, our stuff being shown on the sideline boards, etc. You know, having our brand in behind the backdrop when players do interviews, etc. And you're going to have over 45,000 people watching that second leg in Montreal, that is a huge advertisement for Major League Soccer right there.
Number 4, the Chicago Fire agreed to move their match with the Montreal Impact to September, which means Montreal will be able to train and focus exclusively on the CONCACAF Champions League final. Is that good or bad for the club?
Yeah, and this for Montreal, at first blush, I think it's probably a good thing because they're going to be able to focus solely on that and perform. But to me, this is a team that still needs to kind of find its way and play some matches and start becoming a bit of more of a cohesive unit. And, I think playing Chicago might just help them do that a little bit. It would have been nicer if maybe they could move that game maybe forward a couple days or what have you, just to get them that extra game so they could maybe, just get a little more cohesive. For me, they need to play some more games, and I would have liked to maybe see them play. But I can see where a lot of people are going to say that, obviously it's probably going to hurt them.
I think it's good for them in the short term because their focus is on the two-leg final, what they need to do to try and pull off something against America over the 2 legs and when they go to Mexico City and then when they come home. Might be a bit of an issue when they get to September with some amount of fixture congestion and injury pile up and certainly where they are at that point where I fear they're going to be in a situation where they're having to chase others in the Eastern Conference to try and get into the top 6 in the playoff positions. That fixture congestion could be something that maybe works against them unless they're in good form and they maybe hopefully can stay a little bit more injury free. But where it may be helpful here at this point in time, you can see the potential of it maybe hurting them a little bit at the back end of the season.
All right, we continue on with the starting 11, and we go to number 5. Could the potential arrival of Brazilian striker Luis Fabiano solve Orlando City's early season scoring woes?
It's hard to say. He has a lot of experience. Obviously, he's played for Brazil, played in Europe. I think the biggest thing is if he does come into this Orlando City side, that he complements within the squad that he's in there and becomes an extra added piece of quality. The thing that Orlando City need to really focus on is trying to generate goals from their whole squad, from their younger players that they've got, the younger strikers like Roches and Larin. Kaká as well has got to chip in, and even I think Kevin Molino as well. Not just one player. I don't think just bringing one player and thinking, yes, he will be the one-man solution for us to score goals is the right way to think about it. I do think they need to try and boost that attack, but maybe to be the key to unlock the floodgates of goals coming from all directions, necessarily just coming from the one player.
Yeah, I think more so they need sort of that midfield player to really kind of put the piece together and be that link to the forwards. Right now it's a lot of Kaká doing pretty much having to do everything and everything having to sort of go through Kaká. They kind of need that other player to make it a little bit more dangerous in terms of maybe he has a chance to score from that midfield position, or he can link up to those other players to give them opportunity to score goals. I don't know if just having another striker, albeit of great quality, but not being the one that's really going to take you to that next level.
Number 6, Toronto FC announced this week that they will host EPL champions Manchester City in a friendly on May 27th at their brand newly rebuilt BMO Field. With so much going on soccer-wise this summer, do MLS clubs really need to host international friendlies?
Yeah, I think they still do because there's still that aspect of trying to find some new fans. They still are trying to build an audience. Hey, look at the Vancouver Whitecaps. Here's a team that has had those tarps, and they've talked about the fact that they were going to try to get rid of those tarps over the last number of years, but they need to get to that point where they're selling out every game. Well, maybe having an international friendly, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a friendly against your team. It can just be a friendly to get them in the building and see a game. Maybe they like the way that BC Place looks and they'll want to see that game. So I think you still need to have some of those games and really get that excitement. Do you need to have one every year? No, but I still think you need to kind of have some of those games to get maybe some of those people that haven't yet been out to a game to go enjoy the experience.
I say not really, especially with the fact that the CONCACAF Gold Cup is going to be in the U.S. I don't see the need for what I think are sort of the quote-unquote sell the sport type of games that these MLS clubs have tended to bring in. I do get your point that that's still important to try and generate maybe more fans, but we've got some other competitions here that I think really will help with garnering that interest up. In this country, the Women's World Cup, both sides of the border, you could say, but certainly the Gold Cup, I think, in the States could offer that opportunity. And then next summer, they've got the Copa America Centenario as well, which will generate massive amounts of interest right throughout the U.S. So I don't think that it's necessary that these clubs should be necessarily trying to find these games.
Number 7 on the starting 11 here on Soccer Talk. Are you excited about the Whitecaps' newest signing? It is winger Christian Techera.
I am. I always like small and skillful players. And the guy here we have a wide midfielder, a winger, 5'2". I think his nickname is the Bug, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm very interested to see, what his qualities can do to bring to the side. I'm particularly interested in seeing in a lineup of him on one side and a fit again, Mauro Rosales on the other, what they could do to potentially open up and break down teams, especially with their wide play, crossing the ball into the box, trying to find Rivero or other targets. I really am kind of intrigued what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, I think, to see him because of all the things that we've kind of been told or heard about him is the fact that he is a player that is going to be able to do something good, and he's been able to score goals. He's got speed, etc. So hopefully it is one of those things that we are going to get very, very excited for coming up here in the very near future. Perhaps it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do in terms of his performance on the field. So I think a lot of people are looking forward to him, and it leads us to number 8 on the starting 11. Who's the odd man out, Simon, with the addition of Christian Techera?
Well, I think it's difficult. I'm thinking it's most likely the most inconsistent player, and it would either be for me Kekuta Manneh or Nicholas Mosqueda, because I think those are two players that, especially based on what we saw tonight with Manneh, just don't have offered enough consistency. So they would be potentially probably at least the two players I think they would get left on the outside looking in for a Techera.
And we were waiting for a Whitecap to join us here on the program on Soccer Talk, and we have one now, and it is Kekuta Manneh joining us. Kekuta, thanks for joining us. Unfortunate result tonight. Just your thoughts on the game and what happened. It seemed like you guys came out of this one very flat.
Yeah, you couldn't understand it any better. I mean, definitely very unfortunate, and I thought, some of they played really well today, and they deserved the result. We came a little bit flat. I think maybe we were tired. I don't know, but we didn't really play today, to our abilities, to the standards we set at the start of the season. And so I think it's really important when we come to the road games like this. Even if we don't play, we grind as a team. We work as a team and then grind. And today, that really, I'm sure we all put maximum efforts, but it wasn't enough. We need to dig a little bit deeper. But sometimes things don't go your way. You don't play well. You get results, and today we didn't play well. We didn't get any results. We take it in the chin. It's not the end of the world. We have another away game next weekend. We just gotta pick ourselves up and get back on the training and hopefully get a result in Salt Lake. It's gonna be a hard place to go get something, but we can do it. We've proven that we can do it. So we just need to put this game behind us and just get ready for the next game.
Kekuta, were you particularly disappointed that you weren't able to get any shots on goal during the game tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I had 2 chances that I could. I took one and it was off target, and I had a few more that I could have taken. But I thought I saw the right openings and then I passed it. But looking back at it now, I should have taken them, and we'll see what happens. Games like this, when things are not going your way, that's why we have any opponents you should take him. But looking back now, we just gotta go back and look at the game and see if I made the right decision at the time. But right now, I feel like I should have taken them instead of passing them. But sometimes it goes. That's what happens.
Kakuta,
like I said.
Kakuta,
yeah.
do you feel it was more you guys not having a good performance, or what San Jose did tonight?
I thought we didn't play up to our standards that we set at the start of the season, and San Jose were on top of us since the start of the game. And I thought, credit to them, they played really well today. I thought I didn't think they were a better team than we are, but they were up for it. They were ready for it. I think we might be a little tired because 3 games in a week. That that might be a factor, but I don't know. Just give credit to San Jose today. They played well, and they get what they deserve.
What do you need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again next weekend?
It's just we gotta be ready mentally. Just like I said, don't beat ourselves down. Just it happens. It's not gonna be the last game we're gonna be losing this season. We're gonna be losing a lot of games. It's just how we bounce back from the lose. Hopefully, get ready to get a result in Salt Lake. That will be huge for us. I think we're still in the first place, so we just gotta stay grounded and just get back to things that we do best, and hopefully things go our way next game.
We're joined by Kakuta Manneh here on Soccer Talk on CL 650 Radio in Vancouver. Kakuta. No Pedro Morales next week after he picked up a red card. How much is that going to hurt you?
He's a special player. He's a special player for us. We're definitely going to miss him, but I don't think it's going to be a big loss. We have a lot of players on the squad that can step up into that role, and then they can play it well. We're definitely going to miss him. He's our team captain, and he's a very important player for us. But everyone on the team is as important as anyone. So there's a lot of people that can play that position, and just now is the time for them to step up, and I feel they get an opportunity, and then I feel like they will take it.
Just your thoughts on the debut or the first start for Debbie Flores, Kakuta.
I thought he was fantastic. He could be better because I've seen a lot of him in practice, and his first game, 18 years old, and I thought he did fantastic. And he can always all he can do is just build up to this performance. I told him after the game it was great. It was great, the energy he brought, and he's a very good player. It's very important to us that everybody comes in and step up. And today I just thought it was an off day for us today, but I thought he did well.
Kakuta, thanks for joining us. Safe travels back to Vancouver, and hopefully we see a better performance next weekend.
Thank you.
Kakuta Manneh joining us here on Soccer Talk, midfielder with the Vancouver Whitecaps. And Simon, he had a tough night. You mentioned it earlier that, one of those guys that, could he be the odd man out if Christian Techera steps into that lineup? And for me, I look at it and, I think it's right now it's a competition between him, Darren Mannix, Nicholas Mosqueda, and, you could also throw more Rosales into that mix. He's going to come back from injury, but I think it's going to be one of those younger players to really kind of needs to step up and show that they deserve that role week in, week out. I think it's sort of right now, Carl Robinson, I think, is kind of looking at those guys and saying, who wants it? Because Techera's coming in, and he's going to take a spot. So who wants that role? And I think those are the guys that are going to have to fight it out for that spot.
Well, Robinson said in preseason that, he was going to put more demands on the players, and I think one of the things he listed at the top of his list was consistency. And so I think the fact that he's now bringing another player in that he's going to basically ask for those players to be more consistent with their performances, I would think any fan or anyone who watches this team would say, yeah, rightly so. I mean, this is where they need to go to the next level. And if Carl Robinson knows full well that that's the case, he's got to put in situations or bring players in and create environments that gets that out of the players, because the last thing they can have is talented players that show that level of complacency that turns into inconsistency, and therefore you have inconsistent results.
We will have a full breakdown of the Whitecaps' 1-0 loss to the San Jose Earthquakes coming up in just a couple of minutes, but we just want to finish the starting 11 very quickly, and we'll go to number 9. Does Canada's 1-0 friendly defeat in France on Thursday underline the challenge that the John Herdman side will have to overcome the top sides in the summer's Women's World Cup, Simon?
For me, and I've stated this before, it provides the latest indication that Canada, who are currently ranked 8th in the latest Women's World Rankings, will struggle to beat any top 5 world ranked side like number 3 ranked France in the Women's World Cup this summer. There's just too much quality amongst the top 5 teams in the world, and they consist of Germany, the United States, France at 3, Japan at 4, the World Cup holders, and Sweden at 5. England are currently at 6, and then it's 7 is Brazil, and then Canada. And they just, for me, chips are down, everything on the line with their quality. Canada will hit the wall.
I couldn't understand the last couple of countries you said there.
Sorry. Well, basically, it's Germany. It's Germany followed by the United States at 2, France at 3, Japan at 4, Sweden at 5, England at 6, and then Brazil 7 before Canada.
All right. You know what? For me, I look at it 2 ways. Here's a team in France that probably would have beat Canada 3-4 zip over the last couple of years, but now Canada has taken that next step. And for me, it's an example of that Canada has come a long way. They're still not quite there, but with the performance that at least they had, it's one of those performances that say, hey, you're not going to be able to just come in here and beat us. You're going to have to play one of your best games, and maybe, if we're lucky, we can score a goal here or there, maybe on a set piece, what have you, and we might surprise a couple of teams. And that's what I think, that's what I'm taking out of this this Canada friendly.
Yeah, and I've never said that they would be easy to beat. I think they'll be difficult to beat. It's just, to answer the question, can they overcome those quality sides? I just don't think they have enough to do so. That's basically the point I'm trying to make. Number 10.
Yeah, but Simon said they wouldn't beat a team in Costa Rica, the Montreal Impact. They didn't think that they were going to beat the other Mexican team that they were able to beat. So, Simon has been known to be wrong.
I have been known to be wrong, absolutely. Number 10, Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis.
I gave Simon this question because I didn't want to pronounce
has
the name.
revealed a plan for the opening weekend in next season's Italia Serie A campaign to feature matches in 10 different foreign cities. Would such an idea work?
Yeah, I think it will, especially if they're good quality games. But, it's for me, it's much like having international friendlies come over to North America. Here's an opportunity for Serie A to sell itself to a lot of different places around the world. Right now, it's not the easiest thing to see some Serie A games in Canada. It's definitely not easy. You're going to have to basically find an internet feed somewhere. So giving people an opportunity to see those games, get people a little more excited again about Serie A, because back in the heyday it was fantastic, and it's kind of dwindled a little bit in that cachet that it once had. Not saying that the teams are any better, any worse, but it's just the cachet isn't quite there now because of the big spending English teams and the big TV contracts that they have, because of the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona being sort of these huge teams. So for me, it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase your product all around the world to different places, different countries, and maybe you're going to be able to raise up that cachet once again.
I'm sure it could be pulled off. I mean, the English Premier League thought of doing this at one point. I'm thinking Serie A will actually try and proceed with this. In terms of the idea of it being a review January, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, it all got a bit of a feeling of being a bit desperate of a move by Serie A and its clubs, because they really are struggling right now. They're very much in the shadow of a Spain or in England in terms of their league. They've got a lot of problems that they really need to deal with their game in their own country. This would provide, as you say, from a marketing point of view, a good move, a good idea. But I still don't think it solves a lot of the big problems that they've got to deal with.
And finally, number 11 on the starting 11, we get back to the Whitecaps. Who are the real Vancouver Whitecaps FC, Simon? The ones who went unbeaten in 5 with 4 straight victories, or the team that hasn't won in 2 matches? It is our Barber poll, by the way. You can vote at Twitter, Tyler Green FC, Simon Fudge 74, Soccer Talk 650. It is brought to you by barberandco.ca.
Something in between for me. It's a team that's been good at times, but ultimately, and we're still waiting to see that, and it's going to be the thing that we'll ultimately judge them on. This is a team still trying to find consistency in its performances. It's been too much up and down. They've been able to get a few more wins this time around because they've had the rub of the green, but it's still a team that's still needing to find that next level. And we all think if they can, they'll be very exciting to watch, but they haven't gotten there yet.
No, for me, it's more the team that has now gone 2 games without a win, because I even look at that winning streak and, a big save here or a last-ditch second goal there. The Whitecaps really would likely have 1 or 2 victories on the season. It is a team that, if they can put the pieces together, I think can be outstanding. But right now, they are still just a team that is still, like you said, trying to find its way. And as much as they are leading the league, they are not a team that you think is going to be a team that is staying there.
When you say put pieces together, what are you thinking chemistry or I'm just curious to know.
The consistency level, right? Yeah. Here's a team that you have a great performance one day. We talked about Kekuta Mane has a great performance, a little bit lackluster the next time. Pamadou Ka has been very good. He has also been very bad. So there's a lot of different performances from guys that just have not been good. And then there's been performances where the same guys have been very good, and they just haven't had enough of that consistency from these players. And to kind of go out there and say, hey, this is a team that is going to be there in the end. Right now, I look at this team and I think they're going to be good. They're going to be in the playoff mix. I don't know if they're going to be a team that's up at the top of the Western Conference standings or the top of the Major League Soccer standings where they are right now.
We don't even know what they're going to really look like in 6 months' time. I think that's probably the hardest thing to really figure out right now, I think, with this team.
All right, we're going to talk some European soccer and a look at WFC2 at about 10:50 this evening. But up next, well, the Whitecaps, they lost to San Jose. We heard from Kekuta Mane. Simon and I will give you our thoughts on the performance of the Caps when we return. You're on Soccer Talk.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Soccer Talk on CIL 650.
Nature has always offered beauty and perfection in every fruit, vegetable, flower, and tree. We thought we could improve on our work. We were wrong. Fortunately, Langley-based Bevo Agro has been leading the charge to grow fruits, vegetables, flowers, and trees from seed and seedlings to healthy, pest, and disease-free perfection. To learn more about North America's largest propagator, visit bevoagro.com. Bevo Agro trades as BVO on the TSX Venture Exchange.
What do you want?
A balcony so high it looks down into soccer matches at BC Place.
A pub I can walk to with a dozen big screens.
Kevin O'Toole has created findaproperty.ca to help you find it. Designed to be simply straightforward, findaproperty.ca is an invaluable tool. That's Kevin O'Toole, Royal LePage, Sussex, for buyers and sellers in the greater Vancouver area like you. So find what you want.
A backyard big enough for my own soccer pitch.
At findaproperty.ca.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towels, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. And relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.
Think you know how to run a soccer team? Join the Soccer Talk Fantasy League and prove it. Sign and sell players, make your team the best, and you could win monthly prizes from Umbro Canada. Pick your team each week. Pick your starting 11 or transfer players. Get all the details and get picking and playing at facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. Build your team soccer team and run it in the Soccer Talk Fantasy League, presented by Umbro Canada, tailoring football since 1924.
BC Soccer, the provincial sport governing body responsible for the promotion and development of soccer in BC, is a professional, not-for-profit society committed to inspiring British Columbians to lifelong active, inclusive, and team play. BC Soccer would like to thank their partners as well as the players, referees, coaches, volunteer administrators, and other soccer leaders who dedicate thousands of hours to this beautiful game. For information on getting involved in soccer, coaching courses, referee courses, and any other BC Soccer program, visit bcsoccer.net.
Are you interested in making money through real estate? Hey, it's Scott McGilvery here from HGTV's hit show Income Property. For years, you've seen me on TV help other people build real estate wealth for their future, and now I'm going to help you. My team and I will be live in Surrey on April 11th to show you the systems we use to consistently create wealth through real estate. Tickets are free if you register online, but seating is extremely limited. So reserve now at scottswealthtour.com. That's scottswealthtour.com. I'll see you there.
We're back. This is Soccer Talk on CIL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Some WFC2 and European football chat in about 10 minutes' time. Whitecaps and Quakes review in just a second. But first, Simon has a scoreboard presented by Via Tevere Pizzeria Napolitana, 1190 Victoria Drive. Oh, man. Their pizza is so good. Serves up true wood-fired Neapolitan pizza in East Vancouver. It's absolutely fantastic, Simon.
Indeed, and going to get a chance to try that very soon. Oh. Yeah, the main games today, I'm going to go all Western Conference with MLS games. Last night, huge win by the Colorado Rapids, beating SC Dallas 4-0 in Texas. They hadn't scored before last night to start the season. Sporting Kansas City drew 0-0 today with Real Salt Lake in an all-Western Conference clash. And the big game tomorrow is the LA Galaxy hosting the Seattle Sounders. In the NASL, the Atlanta Silverbacks held the Ottawa Fury to a 1-1 draw. Tomorrow, SC Edmonton play their home opener against the Carolina Railhawks. In the USL, it was a battle of the Cascadia side. Seattle Sounders 2 defeating Portland Timbers 2 down in Tukwila, Washington by 2-1. The big game tomorrow in England is the Manchester Derby, Manchester United against Manchester City. In Germany, Bayern Munich cruising to the league title, a 3-0 win over Eintracht Frankfurt today. Tomorrow sees Napoli play Fiorentina in Italy. And the two big results in Spain today, Real Madrid beat Eibar by 3-0 and then got help from Sevilla, who held Barcelona to a 2-2 draw.
The big question, though, is it wasn't on the schedule, but when do you get to wear the new Umbro TRX Pros that we each got a pair?
In a game, or just you mean when?
In a game, yeah.
Well, unfortunately,
your season's over.
My season's over, so I'd have to wait till probably the week after Labor Day for that to happen. I'm thinking I'll give them a try tomorrow. I'll certainly go out and have a little run around myself and break them in.
I think I'm going to wear mine. Well, I might try mine for half the game, my co-ed game on Tuesday night. We'll see. All right, the Whitecaps losing to San Jose tonight, 1-0 the final. And you can answer the Barber poll presented by barberandco.ca. Who are the real Whitecaps? The ones who went unbeaten in 5 with 4 straight victories, or the team that hasn't won in 2 matches? Get your haircut, hot shave, buzz cut, or beard trim at Barber & Co. Online at barberandco.ca. Some big things, exciting things coming from Barber & Co. So barberandco.ca, the place to go. But Simon, Whitecaps losing, obviously. So first off, and the first excuse, the referee was not good tonight. He made some questionable calls. I think at a few times in this game, he really did not help with giving it zero. He basically gave it zero flow for that first half. It was a pretty hard on the teams to really get into this. There was some phantom yellows, a red card to both Pedro Morales and Adam John. But the referee did not make the Whitecaps play the way that they did. Kakuta Mane said they came out flat. They were not good tonight. And I don't want the fact that the referee wasn't good to be the focal point because, like Kakuta said, they came out flat. They know they came better, and they did not play well enough.
No, they didn't. It was. I didn't think San Jose provided that much either. It was the first half was just what I called, I think, a bit of a boring grind on Twitter. The only difference when we got to the second half was that San Jose made the decision to come out and try and win the game, which they eventually did. It was poor from the Caps tonight, not being able to get any kind of flow, connection with their passes, spell of possession, even creation of chances that could have gotten them a bit of confidence to think, you know what, we could maybe get something out of this game, you know. And they didn't. They looked somewhat disinterested, I think, a little bit. They were fortunate, and they almost got away with maybe being able to get a goalless draw because the lack of quality from the side that was hosting them was pretty much evident as well. It was just not a very good game to watch, but it was just a terrible off night for the Whitecaps, and that's really what should be the story of this game. Edvin Jurasevich, who was the referee, he is known to be a bit card happy, and like Dave Gantar, he does worry me a little bit by the way he approaches games and almost makes himself the center of attention. It is a concern because I have seen him in other games, referee like this a little bit and really, dictate how the flow of the game goes and what results have been happening. And it's just, and players get sending off, and I think it's not a good thing, and it will raise debates about the quality of refereeing, but that wasn't the reason why the game unfolded and finished up the way it did tonight.
No, the Whitecaps were just not good enough tonight, and there were numerous times when we saw that, and Kakuta Mane echoed that thoughts. The second excuse that did kind of creep into some of his answers were the fact that it was the third match in a week, and I'll give you my thoughts in a second, but a valid excuse, Simon?
Well, I think you could maybe see it in the legs of some of the players, but you may be tired, but that still doesn't mean you can't connect passes or you can't put things together or execute. That for me is just too easy an excuse, and it'll be interesting to see when media convenes at training this week, if that's going to have a lot of the talk around it. I really hope it isn't, because I think there was a performance there that could still have been achieved, even though it was the third game in a week, and they got nowhere near to what they could have potentially done in that game, because I think for a lot of ways there was something that they could have gotten out of the game, and they didn't.
I look at, going back to the LA game, great performance, fantastic performance against the LA Galaxy. It was the best 90 minutes I've seen them play in a long time, in a number of games. And then they have a bit of a lackluster performance against Columbus earlier in the week, and then again, just a terrible performance this week. And for me, hey, Carl Robinson, we'll get to this in a second, but Carl Robinson made some changes to that lineup. So the excuse that some of these guys were tired just for me doesn't match up, because, well, he rested some players. So guys should have been able to go out there and give it their all. And, it's early in the season. These guys are just starting out. They should be fresh, ready to go. And, granted, it's not at the same level. But I've played 4 games in a week and have been able to play at the best of my ability in any of those games. And I don't have the specialized training that they have, the training that tells them, okay, they need to slow down. This guy needs to rest a little bit at training. I don't do that, and I'm able to go out there and play the best that I can, so why can't these guys? It was, for me, not a valid excuse, and they better come with a much, much better performance next week against Real Salt Lake. And that leads me to my next point about Carl Robinson and the 3 games of, well, did he get the lineup right? For me, sometimes I think that the head coaches, with so much technology around them, of whether or not there is how much a player is run during a game, how much his heart rate has gone up and down, how much this, and, just different things. Sometimes I think that head coaches overthink the lineup as to when guys need rest, when guys don't need rest, or who to put in, who not to put in, etc., etc. And sometimes I just think that they need to kind of go with their gut and say, hey, this guy had a good performance, say, coming off the bench, but that doesn't mean that he's going to have a good performance now as a starting player. This guy didn't play well. I took him off, so I'm going to keep him off this game because somebody else said, maybe you should put him on because he's going to say, I had a bad game last game. I want to make sure that I have a good performance. Sometimes I just feel like they're overthinking the situation, and maybe Carl Robinson maybe just did not get that. I'm thinking he just didn't get the lineup right over the last couple of games here. I think he just maybe overthought his changes a little too much.
He might have done so. You could say maybe with Manny that starting him, it didn't work. I mean, he was much better off the bench and more effective on Wednesday than he was when he started tonight. It's going to be hard to sort of make that point with Flores, who wasn't bad in replacing Tybert tonight, but didn't necessarily do anything spectacular. I don't think we could have necessarily expected him to do anything spectacular. So it's one of those points where you can make it on a general sense, but it also leads to debates of getting kind of nitpicky about, well, did he get this one change right or this other change? I think there is something you need to consider with the fact that he did make his two center backs have to play 3 games in a week because he was effectively forced to with the fact that Diego Rodriguez pulled out with a groin injury. I would think that Diego, if he'd had his way through the game on Wednesday, could have probably played tonight, a little bit younger of a guy, but that injury forced Ka to have to play the game as well. So there were a lot of those situations, but maybe with Harvey, certainly with Kakuta, maybe he didn't get it right.
And very quickly, Simon, you kind of briefly mentioned it, but San Jose, after the break, San Jose was just the better team in that second half and turned things around for them.
Yeah, although I have to say that they're far from the finished article themselves. I think Dom Kinnear's got a lot of work there to do with that team. He's got a lot of journeyman MLSers. I talked about it earlier, and they're journeymen for a reason. They're going to be able to get it done, maybe say tonight or not, but consistently and maybe taking them to the next level. I think there's going to be some changes he needs to make, but he certainly made the point very clear that they were playing a team that was going to get tired. Get them tired quick, get after them, and he made sure the team got out there in the start of the second half and got grips of the game. They deserve to win it.
We will touch on a little bit of European soccer, look ahead to WFC 2, who play Orange County on Sunday. We'll do that in a minute, but first let's take a look at what's happening around the BC soccer world.
BC Soccer is excited to be hosting the FIFA Live Your Goals Festival on Saturday, May 23rd. This unique experience gives young girls born in 2004, 2005, 2006, or 2007 an opportunity for a fun soccer festival with game stations and skill stations. Only 50 spots per group, so register today at bcsoccer.net. For all the information on the FIFA Live Your Goals Festival on May 23rd, visit bcsoccer.net. BC Soccer would like to congratulate British Columbia's Michelle Pye for being named as one of the Canadian referees for the upcoming FIFA Women's World Cup Canada 2015. Michelle started her refereeing career at the age of 19 and will join Carol-Anne Chouinard, Marie-Josie Charbonneau, and Suzanne Morissette as just a select few Canadians to referee in the upcoming World Cup. Born in Kamloops, Pye is familiar with world competitions after officiating the FIFA U20 Women's World Cup Canada 2014, including a role as the 4th official in the final match in Montreal. The Adult Provincial Cup competition is now in full swing. For a full schedule, visit bcsoccer.net. For more information on what's happening with soccer around British Columbia, visit bcsoccer.net. That's bcsoccer.net.
Follow us on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Soccer Talk on CIL 650.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 5 barber shops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Coach education continues to be a major priority for BC Soccer as mandated age-specific coach education is required by June 1st, 2016. BC Soccer offers and delivers Canada Soccer's national certification courses within the community sports stream, focusing on long-term player development stages including active start, fundamentals, learn to train, and soccer for life. For more information on BC Soccer's coaching courses and registration, visit bcsoccer.net/coach or talk to your local soccer club, league, or district.
We're starting a movement, the Parkinson's movement. Research shows that exercise is critical to living well with Parkinson's. So lace up your walking shoes, get on a bike, dust off that treadmill, or roll out your yoga mat. During April Awareness Month, Parkinson's Society British Columbia needs you to get moving while raising funds for much-needed exercise programs. You have the power to improve someone's life. Join the Parkinson's movement today. To participate or to donate, visit parkinson.bc.ca.
This is Soccer Talk on CIL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
All right, WFC2 play Orange County Blues FC on Sunday. It's a busy weekend for them as they prepare for their home opener next weekend. Busy week. They play a midweek game as well, Simon. A few players being loaned out for this one as well. Who really needs to step up quickly of the loaned players, really show something that Carl Robinson could take notice of?
Well, I think Christian Dean needs to step up. I think he's been touted, but he's not really been given a chance to put himself in a window to sort of show what his abilities are. I think this is a big opportunity for him with these 2 USL games to really show that he could be a real choice at center back.
For me, Ethan Sampson or Tim Parker. Tim Parker's going to meet the club there. They really need to show something at right back because at some point Stephen Badisher is going to need a rest, and it's going to be between those 2 guys to see who gets that job. One of them needs to step up and show on a consistent basis. Simon, very, very quickly, what can you tell us about the OC Blues?
Well, they've only played 1 game. They lost 2-1 at home to the Arizona United late last month, so they've only got 1 game under their belts. It's a first 3-game homestand to start the season. The only guy that I can sort of see here, they got a coaching staff made up of guys all over the world. Includes a technical advisor, who's the former Liverpool and Newcastle player, Barry Venison, who's part of the club. And the squad itself made up of a lot of California guys, senior guys that were in college, I think in 1 or 2 cases in NASL clubs, might have been drafted by MLS sides. So there'll be a much more senior group on the pitch taking on this younger Whitecaps team. And for me, it'll be judging these young players against a team like Orange County Blues is the thing that I want to see this season.
All right, and for the final cut, it is brought to you by Barber & Co. on Twitter at Barber & Co. 5 full-service barbershops for your big haircut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, and beard trim. Get the ultimate barbershop experience in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie 18th, where I got my haircut on Friday, or at the corner of Main and 12th, barberandco.ca. And for the final cut today, we head across the pond. Simon, rapid fire, Manchester United, Manchester City. Does the winner of this determine who takes third in the Premier League?
Might very well do, yes. And I like United turning around and getting it done.
Title, 1 word. Chelsea, is it theirs?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, it's theirs. Can anyone catch the top 4 right now?
No, I don't think so.
Southampton, do they get a European spot?
Europa League, yes.
All right, that does it. For the crew here at Soccer Talk, Simon Fudge, you'll be writing in goal.com this week, and you'll be sporting those boots. If we flip cameras over to Simon, he'll be wearing those boots at some park on Sunday. I'll be wearing mine on Tuesday, probably, for my co-ed match. For the crew here, my co-host Simon Fudge, goal.com, Simon Fudge 74 on Twitter, and our producer. We need a camera in there so we can show Greg the Hammer Ballack. A special thank you to Thomas Rage and Fred and Co. for their continued support My name's Tyler Green. You can read me in 24 Hours Vancouver on Wednesdays, and you can follow me at Tyler Green FC. Thank you for listening to the program. You can download the podcast at CL650.com, and you can search and subscribe to iTunes under Soccer Talk, and you might want to do so because we have a surprise coming midweek for you. Soccer Talk returns to the airwaves next Saturday at 10 p.m. right here on CL 650.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Soccer Talk on CL 650.
The family story begins generations ago on Via Tevere, a street in the heart of Naples, where food was the celebration of life. Today, in East Van, Via Tevere Pizzeria Napoletana honors their family heritage with La Vera Pizza Napoletana, pizza that showcases authentic Neapolitan ingredients and the time-honored tradition of wood-fired cooking. Come experience La Vera Pizza Napoletana, true Neapolitan pizza at Via Tevere Pizzeria, 1190 Victoria Drive, and look for the Via Tevere Neapolitan Express food cart around town.
This summer, Canada's women's national team will be wearing Umbro jerseys as they play for glory in the world's most prestigious tournament. Umbro, the official uniform and gear supplier to the Canadian Soccer Association, is a supporter of all soccer, from local teams to the world stage. It's also the name worn by the world's top players. If you want your club to play a world-class game, equip and dress them in world-class gear. Find it at umbro.com. Umbro, tailoring football since 1924.
Think you know how to run a soccer team? Join the Soccer Talk Fantasy League and prove it. Sign and sell players, make your team the best, and you could win monthly prizes from Umbro Canada. Pick your team each week. Pick your starting 11 or transfer players. Get all the details and get picking and playing at facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. Build your team soccer team and run it in the Soccer Talk Fantasy League, presented by Umbro Canada, tailoring football since 1924.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towel, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. And relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.